The biggest B patch in TFT history has just been shipped, and Riot has nerfed a lot of comps which were too strong. But they forgot to nerf Warwick Reroll, which was already a really strong comp. Do you perhaps remember the Warweek from set 4? Now imagine that we have 3 weeks of this. I guess I will call it the War 3 weeks? Vendor, no, this was just a joke, no! Regardless of your augments, this is the ideal level 8 comp you want to have. Queen will be an amazing side carry and she will disarm key units for 3 seconds, and your main tank will be Zac. You can also decide to play Tryndamere as your side carry instead of Queen. This is recommended only if you have many swords and you don't know exactly what to do with it. This comp can reach higher potential if you manage to get a spatula or augments that allows you to reach 6 challengers or 7 Chemtechs. Usually you want to go with this comp if you have a start with great items that allow you to make Titan's Resolve or Static Shift, or if you have excellent augment like shown here. Unless you have a weak board, you will try to win streak your early game. The best early carry you can find before Warwick is Ezreal. If you win the first fight, then you can pre-level before the carousel and apply more pressure on the lobby. The goal is to be at 100 HP, level 5 and 20 gold at stage 2-6. At stage 3-2 you will need to push level 6 and roll if needed in order to find 2-star units to keep your win streak. In case you started with Ezreal carry, never sell your 2-star Ezreal for 1-star Warwick. You want to transition only when you get Warwick 2. From this point, make sure to position carefully and win the following fights. I'm going to give you some tips about positioning at the end of the video. The goal of your stage 3 is to rebuild your econ back to 50 gold and slow roll for Warwick and Queen 3. Yes, Vander, you'll get the bonus if you help me to win the fight. At the start of stage 4, your board must look like this, and you must have some Warwick and Queen on your bench. Now, all you have to do is slow rolling and checking my Warwick Reroll cheat sheet on Tactor to make sure you are on the right track. If after the stage 4 you still haven't found Queen 3 and Warwick 3, you will need to roll down until you find them, and after finding them you can rebuild your econ in order to push level 7 and level 8 to activate 5 Chemtechs and roll for Zac 3. In case you play Tryndamere instead of Queen, you can just roll at level 6 until you find Warwick 3, and from this point you need to push level 7 and level 8 in order to roll for Tryndamere. If you want to play Warwick Reroll, you will try to get these 3 items on him, but don't worry if you don't manage to get all of them. You can still have a good game without the beast items. Actually, only QSS is mandatory because Warwick might just never be able to play during late game fights with all the CC and the enforcers you might face. You can also trade the Ginzu for a Static Shift or RFC or even another Titan's Resolve for Queen and Tryndamere. Honestly, don't try too hard to get the best items because you will be too focused on getting the right Warwick items. However, if you still struggle to know what works for them and what to prioritize, you can simply follow these tier lists. Do you want this? Do you want this? You know, after the disappearance of Yone and Fiora, a lot of people have forgotten about one very important part about the Challenger. Challengers have additional attack speed on takedowns. Go take it! And you will need to position in order to create a snowball effect. In this fight, I make sure my whole team targets the squishy Braum level 1 to kill him almost instantly and start the snowball. If for instance I put all my team on the left side, my DPS would have been scattered between Vex, Morgana and Jace, and it would have been much more difficult to activate the snowball effect. Of course, it's much easier to position correctly with future sight like in this game, but try to always position in a way that most of your units are targeting Warwick's first target, and try to make sure as well that this target is also a squishy unit and not the main tank. This simple positioning trick drastically increases your odds of winning fights whenever you play challenger units like Warwick or Draven. If you feel like you are stuck and you don't know exactly what to do to improve, then I suggest you to watch this video. I bet you are making more than one of the mistakes I described and you're not really aware of it. Oh, you gave him back? Nice, good boy, Vander. Who's a good boy?